chilling up in the kingdom, chilling with Yahweh Shai and all the brothers and the sisters, cooling out, having fun, drinking yayan with Yahweh Shai up in the kingdom. Yahweh Shai's the power. Yeah. Who's the power? Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai's the power. Yeah. I'm chilling.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Alright. We're at the Israelite School of Biblical History and Practical Knowledge. We're here at Norfolk, Virginia, at 2016 Granby Street. And y'all know we have the different locations, of course, the Houston, the Norfolk, the Rochester, the San Antonio, and they have the addresses, the times, the days that they have classes, and the sister, obviously the sister put it online. And we also have the Blog Talk Radio, the blogtalkradio.com/Mashaba. So that's that's Priest Mashaba, of course. He does the morning sessions for class. So when you're driving to work, or you may be off from work, so you just might want to just tune into something to keep your mind engaged on, meditating on spiritual thoughts. Rather than negative, allowing the negative to dwell on you. So that's a good way to start your morning. We also have the 5 Minutes of Wisdom, the Israelite Media Corps, and the Hidden Truth Bible Show. So, and those are different streams that where you can share the knowledge, share the truth, just to get it out to your family members, and even just something good for yourself. You at work, you got a 15-minute break, you might want to watch something for 5 minutes, or you might want to watch one of the 10-minute, 12-minute videos that we got online, or 20-minute. And you can probably get 15 minutes of it while you're on break, just to keep yourself charged and focused at work, so that you don't get distracted with going through the motion of your environment. You know what I mean? Because you can get caught up in the conversations of the people, that's at work, and you don't want that to happen. You want to keep yourself mindful that you're still an Israelite, in class, out of class, and wherever you're at. So that's good as well. Then we also got the Feast of Pentecost, right? That's on Wednesday. That's on May 31st. So that's on Wednesday, May 31st, the Feast of Pentecost. Obviously, like we've been saying, if you're out of town, try to make it a thing to where you're able to come in town and celebrate your feast days. So these are your holidays that the Most High gave you, opposed to Christmas, right? Opposed to Halloween and all these different things that America teaches us, right? And so this is something different, something refreshing, something that's being brought back to your attention. So take advantage of it. So that's Wednesday, sundown, May 31st. All right? We also have the Israel wear, and we have the Israel wear, which is, the sisters they're making garments for the brothers. The Passover, it's basically like the Passover garments. Basically what we wear during the Passover garment, the headband, the armbands, the girdle, and the tunic. So you get those things during, obviously you can get it during Passover, but why wait? You can create your own. You can have your own design with your own garment that's particularly designed for you. So take advantage of that as well. And we also have the fringed up. We have the fringed up, which is the headband and the t-shirt. A t-shirt or a long sleeve, like the brother got on right now. Bakar, he has it on, the headband and the t-shirt that you get every month. So every month you get a headband and a t-shirt for $75 a month. But if you just wanted a shirt, it's $35 a month. So take advantage of that as well, so you can build up your Israelite wardrobe, right? Your righteous wardrobe. And that's something dope to take advantage of. We also have the Hebrew Academy. So we have the Hebrew Academy, and we have it in Virginia and Rochester. That's every Monday. So every Monday in Virginia and Rochester, we do the Hebrew Academy. And in Houston, every Tuesday, you can join their Zoom. If you're not local, you can join their Zoom, and you can get in contact with the priest that's in the state of Houston. So we're going to share that number as well, too. But Hebrew Academy is for when you want to come, you want to learn to be a priest, right? You want to learn how to serve the Most High, serve your people, and in spirit and in truth. So we also have that avenue. And then you can contact the priest Kazakia, and Priest Quadazak. You can contact them, Priest Kazakia and Priest Quadazak. So she's going to put their numbers up for counseling, marriage counsel, biblical questions, just all of the above. Anything that you need as far as from this Bible, just to get your mind ready and right so that you can serve the Father. So you can be in tune with what you need to be getting from the Spirit. So, which is the Word. So we have that as well. And we also have the businesses. So we have Sweet Ambiance and Chosen Creations. So you have Sweet Ambiance, which is a fragrance business, right? Skincare business. And you can take advantage of that if you like nice smells and you want them natural. Right? So that's an avenue to take advantage of. Like nice smells, you want it natural for your skin or for the home. So take advantage of that. And we also have the Chosen Creations too. So the Chosen Creations, you can do your jewelry, you can have your armbands done, your necklaces done, your metal cups. You can get all that done, right? You can have the what else? A watch, chains, your chains, everything. Water bottles, everything. Everything that's made of metal, woodwork, wall art. You can do all those things. So take advantage of those as well. And then also, of course, we ask if you've been giving, right? You've been donating, keep doing that. Right? And if you see that your brother's doing work, the will, you're online, you're watching class, you've been dedicated in class, and you say, hey, I made myself a part of the school, right? And I want to see the Most High's will being furthered. Well, give, because we need help. We can't do it ourselves, right? So we need the help. So if you're out there, you're in there, you're on YouTube land, you're in class, hey, the brother's waving the hand side to side, help. Right? So we've been, brothers been taking up that burden through the mall for years, but now you're asking for what? Help. So if it's in your heart, help. You hear? Help. Have that with a willing heart, right? Because that's what the Most High wants it, with that willing heart. So just have that in your mind, right? Have that in your mind. Don't forget. And she put it online too, like we let you know exactly what all the bills are, where the money's going to, so that we can be as transparent as possible, so that you can see everything is going back to the school. So take advantage of that. Assist in that area, right? You see that it's going straight to the school, so help. So, but that's basically it for announcements. And if anybody has any questions for tonight, just write them down. We're going to go over and finish the marriage topic. So we're going to finish the marriage class. And so just write down your questions that you have, and as far as that's off topic, and then we'll get to it in the Shabbat morning class. All right? So, yes. So, does everybody remember yesterday's class? Go ahead, y'all.
The topic was Israelite marriage custom.
Right, Israelite marriage custom. Okay, well, what are we going to? Just the first point. Right, so the first point. What are we going to in the first point? Natazak?
We went into, America's taught us to overlook that important step, which was proof of friend.
Okay, right? So America taught us to overlook the important step, which was to prove a friend. Right, but what did that go into? Go ahead.
Went into actually bypassing the physical and getting to know the mental and the spirit. Be more inquisitive than just, after what the eye can see, what you can see.
Right. Right. So, and that part was very important to establish, because we'll miss the fact that we have the steps. We have all the steps, but people can go also through what? The motions of the steps. To where you don't think about the conscience that you have to have while you're doing the steps. Because you could be going through the proving, the courting stage where you're just dating, which is basically just what? Just talking. No physical intimacy or anything of that nature. It's just you and that person just communicating, literally. And you'll just go through the motions of that. And a person can go through the motions of that if they're still thinking like an American, if they're still coming with American habits. And that's why it was so important to establish that part. Because I want to make sure everybody understands that. We don't want to go through the motions of the steps as we go into the knowing, because we're going to go into knowing just the knowledge of the steps. But you got to know the spirit behind the steps and what mindset you were supposed to carry in it. And the proving of a friend was very, very important, because it goes through all the parts of the steps. it's intertwined with every step, you know, because there's trust. When improving somebody, you have to establish trust, communication, and transparency, right, which is intertwined with communication. So, yeah, so we went into those things in the first step about just not looking at the outward, but looking at the inward, and why that was so important, but that America kept us from knowing that part of the mind. And, yeah, so I mean, anybody else? That first point? What did y'all take from that first point yesterday?
Well, I gotta stand up, or?
Yeah.
I learned that basically we have to reestablish the basic ground, like the foundation, when it comes to parents being involved in their children's dating, or a child, or, you know, they're grown at that point, but, you know, they have to have a hand in it, and also be involved in the proving process, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I learned.
Right. And did y'all see that, to recognize that, you know, when we went to the second point, you know, that was like the first step. So that was the first part of that law, when you try to, you know, get engaged in communication with somebody that you desire to be your spouse. I want to make sure that everybody got that part yesterday. Did y'all see that? Okay. So yeah, we're going to be finishing up we're going to start off in that second point again, but we're going to be finishing it up, and it's going to walk us right into that third point. It's going to walk us right into that third point. So, all right. So the second point was, which is titled "First Step." The parents were essential in choosing a wife/husband. You know, when we went through the scripture, Ecclesiasticus 7, verse 25, right? Marry thy daughter, right? We could reestablish it for everybody online.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 7 and verse 25. Marry thy daughter.
Right. So it's saying marry your daughter. So it's saying, you know, this is what you want to do, but it's showing this in this step right here that the parents.
What was the point again? The point I
Oh, you didn't catch it? Did you were here yesterday?
No.
Oh, you weren't here? So it says the first step, right? The parents were essential in choosing a wife/husband. The first step, the parents were essential in choosing a wife/husband. All right? So, 5. Oh, you got it? Okay. You got it, Vanessa? Okay. Go ahead.
Marry thy daughter, and so shalt thou have performed a weighty matter.
So it says, marry thy daughter. So it's saying, it's showing in this part right here that the parents were involved. Saying, marry thy daughter. That means give your daughter, or you can put their son. So it's just showing you right there that parent was involved in the relationship. They were involved in the marriage. They were involved with who you allowed to, you know, your child to court, communicate with in a fashion where it would lead to them being intimate, whether it was communication-wise or physical, because this person will end up being that person's spouse. But this is showing that the parents were involved. Marry thy daughter. Read.
And so shalt thou have performed a weighty matter.
Yeah, and at that point, it's showing you that the parents being involved was a weighty matter. They performed a weighty matter because it was a big task. It was something very important in Israel to do that, to have it go that way, because remember, the Most High, He wants us to do everything decently and in order. And how do we alleviate and keep, you know, when you think about it now, a lot of people that's together, they came together in the wrong fashion. It was just first sight. They just laid together.
Yeah.
Didn't even know the person that they was laying with, and they get caught up in a situation where they have a baby.
Yeah.
Now you have children with somebody that you don't want to be with. Then what happens? Then you separate, right? Y'all tried to stay together because of the kid, the baby was coming, didn't work out because y'all didn't even know each other, and then now you're in a bad situation. So it's showing us that the parent is performing a weighty matter because a lot of life-changing situations can happen when you engage in a relationship. And that could be for good, and that could be for bad when you make the wrong decision. Right. And that's why it was so important that the parents were involved, because now we also have to see that the parents were protecting the children too.
Yeah, they were the parents were vetting that potential spouse. You know, you'll talk to people that had, you know, that experienced divorces, right? Or even breakups. You're like, yeah, I there was red flags in the beginning, but I ignored them, right? Why? Because you were so captivated by the corner. I like their smile. They make me laugh. She looks good. He got guns. You know, whether it's physical guns or whether it's armed guns or, like, you know, 9mm or whatever, you know. Right. You get stuck with the wrong things. But this is why the parents were so important in that process, in choosing and vetting that potential lifetime spouse. You know, they didn't let that not that naive and that immature mind make a decision that would be detrimental to their lineage. You know what I mean? So you had that dad, you had that mother that would sit there with that individual, ask the deep questions, more than what's your favorite ice cream, what's your favorite color, you know, those little surface questions that you thought was all cute and innocent, but that didn't lead anywhere, right? You had to ask the questions that were going to be able to see what this person's pedigree was. See, how were they brought up? What were their customs, right? Because, I mean, all of us sitting here, we're Hebrew Israelites, right? Now, would you want your child to be married to an atheist? A Muslim? A part-time Christian? Right? So what would you do? You would sit down with that potential. That's a little echoey. Yeah, it's kind of. Yeah. Go ahead. Kind of. You wouldn't want them to sit down. You would want to sit down. It's our job. It's our custom to sit down with those individuals and look them in the eye and vet them and see what they're about. So this way, your child is not making a detrimental decision based on carnal things. Yeah, so read that again.
God, marry thy daughter, and so shalt thou have performed a weighty matter. But
right, because you're going to be sending her and him to somebody that's going to be, now, if it's your daughter, her husband becomes her covering, right? So she's out of your supervision, and you're trusting this young man to do as you would do, right? So that's a weighty matter, right? You want to make sure that she's not attracted to him for the wrong reasons. You got your hand up, sis? Oh, read it again.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 7 and verse 25.
Right, Ecclesiasticus chapter 7 verse 25. Go ahead.
God. It says, but give her to a man of understanding.
But how would you know he's a man of understanding? You would have to sit with him. And it would be more than just one time. Right. It would be let me that vetting process wasn't just, okay, Daddy, let me let you meet my boyfriend. Nah, it was, okay, let me introduce you to this young man, and Dad's going to take the time to see if this young man is even worthy, right? If this man has understanding of what it is he's about to take on, right?
Right. And just even in just showing you the definition, it says custom of marriage. It says choosing a bride. It says, and I'm gonna just read it through, and I'll, after class, if y'all want it, I'll share it to you, because I don't want to take all the time with it. It says, mode of selecting a bride, betrothal, and marriage price, right? And it shows us that the way that the parents were involved is the way that the Creator was involved himself. So the Creator did this. He does that with us even now, and we're going to go into those scriptures too. But this is what the parents are doing, what the Father did with us. It says, number one, imitating the example of the Father of the universe, which is the Most High, who provided the man he made with a wife, because he provided Adam with a wife, with Eve, his wife. So Adam didn't just go be like, I don't want Susanna. No. Most I no, Eve is the one for you. Right. She's the one that's gonna stick by your side. She's the loyal one. She's the righteous one. Yeah, she's the one that you're gonna go through this journey, this path of life, this long-term spouse, right? This lifetime spouse. Lifetime spouse. She's your partner. She's the one I created for you, and that's what your father and your mother is doing, and they're doing it based off of the wisdom of the Bible. So they're not doing it based off their own wisdom. So it says, "Who provided the men he made with a wife." It says, "Fathers from the beginning considered it both their duty." Their duty. That means why? Because the Most High gave them a task when the Most High gave him the duty of being a dad, or gave her the duty of being a mother. He gave that man and that woman a job to protect this child as they go on in life. And I know, like we established it yesterday, right? A lot of you are in here without your parents. Now, the leader, the head in the relationship is the man. So he's the guy, he's the guardian, he's the protector, he's the one shielding you away from danger. Now, and if you're a mother and you have a child, you're the one doing that for him, right? And if it's just you, but also you have the brothers, the elders, the priests, the wise men that assist you in that journey so that you're not doing it alone, right? And I want to just highlight that I wanted to really point out that this is the first step. This step, we skipped it. But if you're trying to figure out about marriage and how Israelites moved for marriage, this is the first step. It says, "The fathers from the beginning considered it both their duty and prerogative to find or select wives for their sons." So the fathers made it his task that as he go about life and he's raising his son or his daughter, that they found a spouse for that person, right? Somebody adequate, somebody that's trustworthy. So I just wanted to reestablish that and just show you. And we're going to go into just some stories where this was acted out. Go ahead.
There's a question. Rings are pagan?
Rings are pagan. I mean, rings is jewelry. That's jewelry. Jewelry, not pagan. Jewelry is a piece of, it's an item. It's a accessory. Now, what people choose to use it for, they can try. The ring itself ain't pagan. It's not pagan. It's just, what word is it?
You won't see it in our customs.
Yeah, you won't see it in a Israelite custom. You don't see through the Bible where you see a man going down,
bend on one knee,
and say, "Marry me, please," with a knee.
Right.
That's not what you see in an Israelite custom.
Right, with a diamond.
Yeah, you don't read that throughout the Bible. And we're going to go through some stories where these moments of matrimony happen, and you're not going to see the ring scenario come up. But are rings pagan? No. Is it wrong to have a ring? No. But this wasn't something that was customary that you would read about with an Israelite. So, yeah. So rings aren't pagan. It's an item. People choose to attach things to that item. Precept? Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 3 and 19 and 20, 19 to 21. Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 19. The chains and the bracelets and the mufflers, the bonnets and the ornaments of the legs.
Right. And he's in this scripture, this chapter is going through just different types of jewelry we used to wear. So, and it's going through earrings, headbands, and things of that nature. But he just went to that scripture to show you there's nothing wrong with us wearing jewelry. Right. There's nothing wrong with us wearing jewelry. We just couldn't. You tried to put that jewelry above the Most High, where the jewelry started to matter more. Where you're doing everything just to chase after that jewelry, like to where now even with the ring, like your woman, like if you don't give me the ring, well, we ain't getting married. The ring is like the silly deal to Americans. That's when it's like when you think, that's when it comes into play where you don't want to intertwine American customs with Hebrew customs, because that wasn't Hebrew customs. I'm gonna come to you. And that's where you don't want to intertwine. But rings itself, is there something wrong with it? No. But was it our customs? No. And we're gonna read stories where individuals that are well known in the Bible, known to the Most High, where the Most High deemed these men and righteous women, where they got married and you didn't hear anything about a ring. So the ring can't be the deal. The deal got to be what? That we're in the same mind, same judgment. So just to answer your question, Brother Black Lightning, right? So let's go to Genesis chapter 24, verse 3.
Genesis chapter 24 and verse 3.
Right. So now we're going into these actual instances where the parents actually got involved in the marriage, right? And so this is where we're gonna figure out why that's important. We're gonna go into instances where men did it the correct way, and we're gonna go into instances where it was done the wrong way, and why it's important to do it the right way. So let's go into that.
Genesis chapter 24 and verse 3. And I will make thee swear by the Most High and the power of heaven and the power of the earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son.
Well, we went through this one yesterday, but I guess for everybody online, yeah, we went through that yesterday. But for everybody online, this is a refresher. So read that one more time.
And I will make thee swear by the Most High, the power of heaven and the power of the earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites.
And this is Abraham telling his servant, giving his servant specific instructions on how to go choose a wife for his son. And he was having his servant to go to his homeland to go pick a daughter from his kindred, as it's going to say in the verse. Read.
Among whom I dwell.
Right. It says he don't want a wife for his son among the people he dwells in. He don't want a Canaanite woman for his son, because he understood that what? His son was going to play a pivotal part of the chosen 12 of the chosen 12 tribes of Israel coming through his loins. So he wanted to have a righteous woman dealing with his righteous son. And he didn't want a Canaanite to pollute his spirit. Right? And that's vice versa on a woman. A man will want his daughter, he will be watching out for the woman, the man that he allows to marry his daughter or betroth his daughter, so that because he don't want somebody that will pollute her spirit and make her negative rather than keep her righteous.
Right. Somebody that has the same standards. Yeah, because it makes you think about. I remember one time I didn't bring too many females to meet my mom. I was one of the dirty kind of shicey cats. But the one that I did bring to meet my mom, she said, "Get her out of here. She's giving me a headache." Oh. She said it straight like that in front of her, and I was just like, "Dang, that's kind of rude." Like I'm like, nah, because my mom is on some church stuff. She don't get it. Later on, little did I know, she not only was my mother was telling the truth, she gave me a headache. This chick was like a Jezebel, put it like that. Right. One of them hot pockets. But I was caught up on what? The carnival. She had all of my flavors, but my mother saw past that. That's why it's important to have that vetting, that buffer, that fence, to really see past what you're in delusion of not seeing.
Yeah, so real life instance, right? And we're going to read another real life instance where that happened, where, in the Bible. So he doesn't want his son to marry any Canaanites. Right. So go to Genesis 24:4. You there, right?
God.
Go ahead.
Verse 4. But thou shalt go unto my country. My
country. Oh, okay. Yeah, thou shalt go into my country, meaning his homeland, and read.
And to my kindred.
And to the people of his nation, his tribe, right? And the reason why was because he wanted to keep everything pure. He understood that the people in his kindred were in the same mind as him. Right? How they deal with marriage, how they deal with raising children, how they think about nation building, how they think about protecting the people and caring, how they care about how they raise their children. They're like, okay, these are my people. They're gonna raise their children just like I raise my children. Under the guidelines of the Father, right? So because they know better, because a lot of these people were his people. He was raised around them, so he knows them. So he knows that, okay, I'm passing my son on to somebody righteous. And I know my son. I know he's going to guide that house the right way. So he's vetting this, and the parents taking the part in vetting this individual that their son is dealing with, their daughter is dealing with.
Yeah.
So go to Genesis chapter 38, verse 6. So that's just one instance, just showing. That's one instance showing that the parent was the one that actually. The parent was the one that actually vetted the the relationship, and showing that we actually in history, this is us acting out our customs. I want to make sure you following.
That's the first step.
Yeah, I want to make sure you capturing how it's being brought out. Do you see so far just that this is the way that it went? Because I wanted to really show that. I know it was something you had asked, and then about just the contracts and everything like that, and all those things. You notice that there was no American government there to be like, there's no Babylonian government there. It's just him talking to a servant, and we got to figure out that they actually went to the family and had this conversation. So we're going to go there too. But I'm just trying to show the different instances where the parents were involved. And this is another instance where a parent was involved. So go ahead, read that.
Genesis chapter 38, verse 6. And Judah took a wife for his firstborn.
Judah did what?
Took a wife for his firstborn.
So look at the parents being involved. This was a natural thing. Read.
Whose name was Tamar.
And her name was Tamar. So he handpicked somebody for his son. Right? So, and he's showing us here another instance. Just showing us that the parents were involved.
Yeah.
So that's the key part about what we do. It says, I'm getting married Wednesday, great class and perfect timing. Come. Right? That's good. Oh, wow. Getting married Friday, huh? Or Wednesday. That's good. So it said the parents were involved. Go to Genesis 28, verse 1.
Genesis chapter 28 and verse 1.
Hold on. Hold on. Let me go to. Hold on. Well, you can read that one, matter of fact. Let's go ahead.
Genesis chapter 28 verse 1. And Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him and said unto him, Thou shalt not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan.
Right, so he said, Isaac called Jacob and blessed him and charged him. That charge is, when you look up that word charge, it means commandment. So he gave him a command. He gave him a direct order as to what he's supposed to go do. And what do you go do? He says, and said unto him, Thou shalt not take a wife unto the daughters of Canaan. So he was telling him exactly what to choose and what not to choose. Right? What type of women to get and what women not to get. So go to read verse 2.
Arise and go. Arise. Go to Padan Aram.
Padan Aram. Read.
To the house of Bethuel, thy mother's father. And take thee a wife from thence of the daughters of the bond. Thy mother's brother.
So he went to his family and dealt with he went to go get a wife from amongst his kindred, his peoples. Right? Because he understood that they were in the same mind as him when it came to just building children.
Yeah, that's important.
That's important because we were saying it yesterday, right? And we were saying it yesterday about how your marriage wasn't just your marriage. Your marriage had to deal with the whole nation because your marriage was supposed to be a model or for everybody to look at. Be like, oh damn, I need to be like that sister. She's meek, she's humble. I need to be like that man. He's patient. I need to be like him, that brother. He's aware of his kids when they step out the house. You're looking for the good things in a person to covet that made them godly. And he knew that this would be the right woman for his son.
Yeah.
Right? He knew this would be the right woman.
Yeah, that's beautiful because it's like you're telling you as parents, what we're doing is we're finding and we're showing our children the importance of investigating their spouse's pedigree. Like, where do they come from? What are their qualities? What do they stand on? Right? Because this is somebody that's going to either be in the same mind, the same judgment as you, they're going to have the same morals, the same principles as you, or you're going to be battling for you. As long as you, next thing you know, you're going to be like in the court looking for a divorce, right? So having what Isaac told Jacob was to go to his people, because he knew their pedigree. But how many of us doing that today? That's not something that they tell you to do today in America. They tell you to marry what you love, marry what you like, marry somebody that got a great credit score, somebody that's going to give you light-skinned babies. You know what I mean? You want pretty babies. Listen, you got to marry her, she's going to give you pretty babies. I've heard that before. That's like the stupid stuff that our people really tell our children as something of value. Oh yeah, marry him, you got a great credit score. Little do you know, all it takes is 1 or 2 bad payments, and you looking at, a 500 or something like that. Right. You know what I mean? But how about marrying somebody with a solid mind state that's going to raise your children in the same standards that you've been raised in. So you're not going to have to battle about, well, how come they can't dress up for Halloween? We don't celebrate Halloween. Well, the kids are going to have a horrible childhood if we don't give them Christmas. See, all of that will be avoided if you know their pedigree and ask the question. Even things like what's been coming out a lot, mental health. You got to ask these questions. Like, is there trauma in your family? Is your family dealing with any mental health issues? Is there a history of people going to prison in your family? Because these are some of the things, Con's laughing, right? He's laughing because these are some of the questions I did not ask and found out later. How many of us are really doing that? Like, because this becomes your family. Not that they're going to be making decisions in your household, but this is where your spouse comes from. This is where their mind state comes from. And this is what you're going to have to deal with. Y'all see that?
Come. So, did you read that?
Come.
Okay. And let's go to Genesis 21:21. So it's just showing different instances where people actually went to their parents, went through their parents.
Yeah.
So, and this is now even on the side of the mother. So, who got it?
Genesis chapter 21 and verse 21. And he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran, and his mother took him a wife out of the land of Egypt. Mm-hmm. And it came to pass at that time that Abimelech...
Read it from top again.
Verse 21. And he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran, and his mother took him a wife out of the land of Egypt. And
right. Just showing the mother, right? She went and took him a wife. So the mother actually went and got this her son a wife, right? And she took him out of Egypt. Oh, hold on, I'm trying to remember which son it was. I got the part. Right, okay, yeah. Because it's Ishmael, Abraham's son, Ishmael. Right, that went straight to the point. But yeah, this is Abraham's son, Ishmael, his wife, his Hagar, right? Finally taking a wife for her son out of Egypt. So basically doing what? She's taking the control, the oversight. She's taking the oversight. She's making the decision and choosing for her son so that she can get him a wife, a suitable woman. But she's taking that oversight. And obviously in this sense, the father wasn't there, right? Because Abraham was where he was at. Hagar, they're gone. They're out of the environment where Abraham was. Right. And so now she's doing her role as the mother, which is what the father would do if he was there. Right. So she's finding that wife for her son. But just showing in this instance, that what? The parent is always there. So what are we seeing concurrently? I want to see if everybody's following, just for all the scriptures we just went through. Go ahead. Well, you had something earlier that you wanted to say too.
On the one earlier, with the rings, it was what made that popular was like back in the 1950s. That was made popular by the jewelry companies to make it the marriage seem as that way. So that's where the ring thing comes from. It was after like the baby boom era.
Right. So the ring is basically a money scheme.
Yeah, it's just a money scheme because the Jews had control of the the jewelry, the diamond district and all that stuff. So that's where that came from. A little knowledge I had looked up once before.
Okay. Oh, and he just pulled it up. The Egyptians was doing that as well.
Egyptians did it too.
Yeah. So he pulled up that the Egyptians did that as well. So yeah, 2 and 2. Money schemes. Money schemes and then customs of a heathen.
Right, not our culture.
Yeah. And what else you was gonna say?
What we're getting from so far from what we're getting, the parents had a certain oversight of what the sons needed, as far as in a wife, what was suitable for them, and what for our forefathers, how as far as in building the nation, I'm saying they had to have that respectable wife, their pillar of rest.
Right.
And one, how you say, that they were in the same mind, same judgment, to bring forth that nation.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and we see this even with just even Hagar. She being around Abraham and seeing how he moved, she still was able to perform it the way he would like it to be done. And obviously she went out in Egypt, got him a wife, and at this point we know that this is a nation, so this ain't got nothing to do with us. Right. But she at least still followed the formality of the part where she was taking oversight, and she found a woman that was suitable for him. So that's the most crucial points that we want to take out of just that part. But we also, just wanted to show. I really wanted to just show that, just how that the parents were present. They were present. They were watching over and choosing for the kids. And this is actually another story with a nation. Genesis 34 verses 4. And then we're going to read verse 8.
Genesis chapter 34 verse 4. Mm-hmm. And Shechem.
Hold on, let everybody get there. Everybody there?
Time.
Y'all there?
Time.
Okay. Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 34 verse 4. And Shechem spake unto his father Hamor, said, Get me this damsel to wife.
But what did Shechem do?
Spake unto his father.
And look at this. This is a nation doing this. This is the Hamites doing this. And they're following that same tradition. They said, Shechem spake unto who?
His father.
So he went to talk to his father. So he didn't skip the step.
Right.
He didn't skip the step. He didn't skip the rule, the regulation. And did what?
Said, Get me this damsel.
Give me this damsel. He's going to go speak to the parent of this damsel to do what? Give me this damsel. No, give me this damsel to.
Give me this damsel to wife.
Yeah, he wanted to get this damsel to wife her. He wanted to wife her, but what did he do? He went through his parent. He went to his father.
Right. He ain't go try to bag her in the club or slide her DMs. He ain't was like, yo, I bagged this shorty in the store. He did what we did. Even the nation, go to our father. Go to somebody that had more oversight. Somebody that had more wisdom. Y'all see that?
Right. More experience. So jump to verse 8.
Verse 8.
So now this is his father fulfilling the wish and considering what the son actually wanted done. Read.
And Hamor communed with them. Said, the soul.
Yeah, so he communed, he communicated, he talked. Read.
Said, the soul of my son Shechem longeth for your daughter.
And this is Shechem. Hamor and Shechem. He wanted Dinah. He wanted Jacob's daughter, right? Dinah, which was the 12. These 12 men. It was their sisters. Ephraim, Gad, Manasseh, Reuben. That was their sister. He wanted her. But what we're showing in this story is that this was customary, even in ancient times. Even amongst the nations, it was a regular thing. This was regular because it protected the children, and the children understood that as well. But this is different in this time period because they try to demonize it because they know when that part is gone, then the kids will go off their naive nature and off their carnal nature and look at things from physical perspective, right, an emotional perspective, and they'll cancel out the parents. So, but go ahead, read on.
I pray you, give her him to wife.
And this is him making a petition to another parent, Jacob. And I pray you, give your daughter for my son to wife. Read.
And make ye marriages with us.
And he wanted them to marry with him, right? And then we're gonna read on. I want you to read on in verse. Where was it at? Hold on, let me find the part. This is something I want to point out in there. No. 21. Where is it at? Hold on. Where is it? It says where he says, the grief of mine. In Genesis 34. Genesis chapter 34 verse. Oh, okay. He worded. Read verse 8 again. Yeah, I just caught it.
Verse 8. And Hamor communed with them, saying, the soul of my son Shechem longeth for your daughter. I pray you, give him to wife.
Right. Yeah, it says the violation of this parental prerogative on the part of the son was a grief of mind to the father. So he was going out here just trying to make this petition for his son because his son was he was having this overwhelming feeling, like he had this inordinate affection to her. He was desiring Dinah. He was desiring so much so that he was ready to he was losing himself. Like this is something that he really wanted. When you want something but you pouting. So he was pouting. Yeah, he was pouting, and this part was where he was overstepping his boundaries. Just him having that grief of mind. Like you losing yourself over the woman. Like you're supposed to have a certain decor about yourself to where you respect the standing. And we know the story. I mean, just the story of Dinah, what happened, where Hamor. Yeah, they killed him because he violated the sister. So, and we know what that led to, but then he wanted to marry her at the end. And he skipped the step. He went to do the step, but he skipped the step. So he skipped this step, and we seen what happened with that. Something detrimental happened to where he affected his people. So look what happened when you overstep the boundary. He had the grief in his mind, so he's overwhelmed by this feeling. And then what did he do? He violated her, but then he also didn't do the first step, which was go to his parent. And something detrimental happened because he didn't follow his father's instructions. Or he didn't follow the instructions that was set up by the Most High, right? Which was to go to your parent first. So, you see that? And he broke it. He broke it. So these things make broken marriages happen. So, yeah. I want to point that out. I missed it because of the wording. Because I had something written in there as well. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out, But we established that. You get that. The parents involved, they're involved in every part, and they're in control of just how the direction of those interactions go. Because that would keep the children safe, and this was an important part as well. The proving process was important, but it was important that you went through the parents first, because they'll protect you too. Right. So you have two lines of defense against making a bad decision. Right. Let me jump back to it. So, yeah, let's go to Judges 14:1.
Judges chapter 14 and verse 1.
Right.
And Samson went down to Timnah and saw a woman of Timnah of the daughters of the Philistines.
So, and look at Samson. He did a part right, but then he disacknowledged the part at the same time. So we're going to see that in the part. And what it was that his parents gave him instruction, and he went up opposite to that instruction. But we're going to see that he at least did the first step right, which was going to his parents. So read that.
And he came up and told his father and his mother, and said, I have seen a woman in Timnah of the daughters of the Philistines. Mm-hmm. Now therefore get her for me to wife.
So we see he did to the first part. He talked to his mom and dad about a woman that he's finding attractive. Right? Somebody that he wants to deal with. Read.
Then his father and his mother said unto him.
Oh, and also key part says, now therefore get her for me to wife. So he wanted them to go talk to her parents. So that he could have her as a wife.
So it wasn't like today where like you got like you got the secret boyfriend that your dad don't know about, your mom don't know about. You know, y'all at school, y'all hold hands, y'all kissing in the staircase and things of that nature. And then when your parents ask you, you know, these questions, you like, no, I don't got a girlfriend, I don't got a boyfriend. It wasn't like that.
No.
Yeah, because that's America. That's America. America wants to keep it to where you think the parents don't have your best interests at hand, that you know best for yourself. You know, yeah, if I go to dad, you know, dad he gonna shut it down because, you know, he just want to be dad. He want to control my life. Or mom just wants me to be sheltered. She don't want me to have fun. No, mom don't want you to be a baby mama and a baby daddy.
Right.
Dad don't want you to have STDs. Dad don't want you to go through these unnecessary heartbreaks. Mm-hmm. That if you just go by your naive, youthful desires, right? The parents can avoid that for you. Y'all see that?
Right. So go ahead, read on.
Verse 3. Then his father and his mother said unto him, Is there never a woman among the daughters of thy brethren, or among all my people?
Right. He's looking for something outside of his people. So they're looking at it like, okay, you're thinking with your emotions. You're being emotional about the decision you want. You're just looking at the outward. You're not really looking at the inward. And we know what happened to Samson at the end, which is what? This woman told all his information. Mm-hmm. So everything about him, they're in the middle of where these people have power over Israel at the time, and then you want to deal with her. So you think about it. You don't think she could be sent to, you're not considering that she could be used right now to get information off of you about what we got going on? So he's not thinking about all these things, but the parents is like, bro, why don't you just deal with your own type of woman? Why don't you deal with your own people? Right. Somebody that you know that was raised just like you, with the same logic as you, and was raised with the same morals. Because if she was raised with the same morals, she wouldn't have told her secrets. So, and that's what we're figuring out too. Huh?
I said more than once.
Oh, more than once. But what he kept doing, he kept falling right back into it. Because he was what? Thinking with his emotion.
Right.
Think about how he feels. So he's thinking about how to please her so much and how to win her over so much that he's forgetting about all the things that he was taught. Right. He's omitting all the things that he was taught by the simple fact of just what? Putting his woman first. Let this woman have his emotions. And that's the blindness. So this woman's first? Right. Yeah, it says, is there not a woman? He said, read that verse 3 again.
Come on. Then his father and his mother said unto him, Is there never a woman among the daughters of thy brethren?
Is there never a woman that you, like, you can't find a woman over here? Right? Because he wasn't looking with the right eyes. Right. He wasn't looking with the right mind. So of course he wasn't able to find the right woman. And he was looking for something outside of what he was supposed to. He was missing about looking at those characteristics. And that's what his mother and father is trying to point out to him. And he's missing that point. And that's why I said, go to Proverbs 6 verse 20. Proverbs 6 and 20.
God. Proverbs chapter 6, verse 20. My son, keep thy father's commandment.
Yeah, so he says, keep my father's what?
Commandment.
And that's what Samson was supposed to do. They was instructing him to deal with a Israelite woman, a woman of his kindred, so that everything can be kept pure and righteous. Read.
And forsake not the law of thy mother.
And you're supposed to listen to your mother. You're supposed to be listening to your mother's wisdom. They're giving them wisdom right now, like throwing out to him. They're throwing out to him like, he said, is there not a woman among your people? Among all my people? And he says, and he goes on, did you read the rest? Go ahead, read on.
It says, or among all my people, that thou goest to take a wife of the uncircumcised Philistines.
Right, you want to go to the uncircumcised Philistines, somebody that's what? They're literally probably not circumcised, and then, but literally, they talking about that spiritual, that mind. Filthy. The customs that these people carried. It wasn't biblical.
Right.
So, finish what you had, Malachi.
My son, keep thy father's commandment.
Yeah, you were supposed to keep your father's commandment, read.
And forsake not the law of thy mother.
And you wasn't supposed to forsake your mother's law. You're supposed to listen to them. Because they were there to guide you and protect you. So that you don't get engaged with somebody that was going to destroy you. Read.
Bind them continually upon thy heart.
And you're supposed to bind those instructions. Because those things are what protected our people as a nation, as a whole. And they protected you in your relationship to where you can have a good wife, good kids. Right? And everything functions the way that you would like it to go to. But you got to make sure you listen. So jump back to where you at.
And Samson said unto his father, get her for me, for she pleaseth me well.
Right, but then what did he do? He didn't even hear what they said.
Right.
He didn't even consider it. So the wise man is what? Consider it. And he didn't consider none of what they were saying. He just threw it out the door. Like, it don't matter. I don't want to hear what you got to say. So he threw out everything that the parents were saying. But this part right here was to do what? It's to show you that why it's so essential for the parents to be involved. It's showing you why it's so essential that the Most High laid that down as the natural way to do things, the natural order of how to do things, right. Which was to go through the parents, because we're seeing that even this man Samson, right, who was a striving righteous man, right, he was making, and he had moments where he was thinking with the carnal. Right. He was thinking like a mortal man in certain instances, and we see that right here in this instance where he just literally just casted aside his parents' wisdom. Their experience. He wasn't listening to that. He wasn't listening to any of those things. So go to Proverbs 5 and 5 to 7. Right. Proverbs chapter 5 and verse 7.
Proverbs chapter 5 verse 7. Hear me now, therefore, O ye children.
Go ahead, Rachel. Read from the top.
Proverbs chapter 5 verse 7. Hear me now, therefore, O ye children.
Yeah, so he's saying, hear me. So the Most High is like, listen. The Father, like, listen. Read.
And depart not from the words of my mouth.
Yeah, he said, don't depart from the words of his mouth. Because the words of my mouth is wisdom. I've experienced these things. I've seen people go through things. I've lived a lifetime. Right? I've lived a certain amount of time in this world. And I've seen certain things go on, and I've kept the law of the Most High. So I'm aware enough to see what's going on, to show you things that's going to protect you. Right. That's going to keep you out of harm's way. And obviously, 98% of everybody here can attest to those things that come when you don't have like a guide, somebody helping you and directing you and showing you who to be around. Or if you did, you see the repercussion when you didn't listen when that parent told you to leave it alone. And the brother just shared his testimony. When he didn't leave somebody alone that his mama told him to leave alone. She became exactly what his mother's words said. It said, your mother, read that last part again.
And depart not from the words of my mouth.
Yeah, he seen the repercussions of departing from his mother, the words of his mother's mouth. He got a full mouth from a woman, right? And those things are important. But read on.
Remove thy way far from her.
Remove that way far from her. So, and this is what the parent was trying to do. This is showing you like this chapter is just showing you this portion of this chapter in Proverbs is showing you why the parent was involved. It's giving you the thought process. Now it's giving you the thought process. We've seen the tradition, we've seen the customs, and we're seeing that the parent was actually, we've seen the law, we've seen the customs, right? And we've seen it actually being done in history. And now we're reading the chapter where it's showing us why it was so crucial, because this can be the end result, right? So read that.
And come not nigh the door of her house.
It says, remove thy way far from her. So that means stray away from a woman, from a man that's not moving with biblical wisdom, not moving with a biblical mind. Read.
And come not nigh the door of her house.
Yeah, don't get caught off guard by the outward appearance. Don't get caught off guard by her words. A lot of people can talk smooth words. That's what it says about a strange woman. Her lips are smoother than butter. Her lips are smoother than butter. It says that. Read.
Lest I give thine honor unto others.
And then what happened to Samson? He gave his honor to another. What the Most High told him not to communicate to anybody about, what did he do? He gave his honor to another person. Because he was what? He was being guided by his emotions. His emotions led him to that point to making that decision. And we're figuring out what? Why the parents was involved, but also even in the first point where it says the proving process. Why the proving process was so important. And your parents should be there to even do the first part. They're screening. They're vetting it. And they're looking at how this child was raised. They could have looked at how she was raised by meeting her parents. If he'd have let that process go. But he wanted so hard to do what? To marry this woman. Because he was thinking with infatuation. He was infatuated with what was her name? I forgot her name. Delilah. Right, he was so infatuated with Delilah. So read on.
And thy years unto the cruel.
And then now you give your years unto the cruel. And the cruel is who? That woman that played with your words. That man that played with your words. The one that played with your time. You spent time, you tried to invest in this person, but then that wasn't their whole agenda. They had another.
No, I said time. Because when you look, especially when you look at Samson, it's beautiful. Because I did a class on him a few years back. When you look at Samson, he didn't just play the fool and be overwhelmed with that desire for her once, but it was twice. And then you got to look at the effects of what that does when you're moving blindly like that. It doesn't just hurt you; it hurts everybody else. He tied 500 foxes by the tail, and then let them loose in the cornfield. That pissed off the people that they were already beefing with. Caused more contention. What happens when you keep moving off of your own lust and your own desire? You're putting everybody in jeopardy.
Right. Yeah, you're putting everybody in jeopardy. Think about it, they're in slavery right now. They're in captivity. They're under the Philistines. So you're trying to deal with the Philistines while you're under the rulership of the Philistines, and what is that going to do for your people?
Well, that's like now when you look at the 60s. That's like when you look at the 60s during segregation, right? Esau and Judah sitting in the back of got to move to the back of the bus, got to sit in the back of the restaurant, got to sit by the toilet, all of those things, right? But then what are you doing? You up there dating the white girl secretly, right? And then let something happen. Look at Jonathan Mayer, the guy who played the bad guy in the recent Creed. Beefing with his wife, right? He called the cops to get her removed from the premises. He ended up in cuffs. He got handcuffed. He got locked up. Then he got his promo that he had to deal with the army. He got his commercial and his promo strip. He lost a lot of endorsements because of what? He was moving off of his eyes.
Yeah. That was the story that came up.
It's fast. Yeah, he lost a lot. Yeah, they made that movie, the Ant-Man that he was just in, they made that flop because he's in there. They're trying not to use him.
Wow.
Come.
Yeah, when you see that, you mess up yourself. You give your life to a cruel person, and they'll make your life cruel. They'll make your life hard. Read.
Verse 10. Lest strangers be filled with thy wealth.
And then you get into this divorce. You get into this divorce, and then what? They take what happened to all these rappers, these athletes, the Dr. Dre's and all these guys. Now what's happening?
Michael Jordan got
This, Michael Jordan got hit too?
Yeah, him with his first wife.
Yeah, 50 million.
How much?
Tyreek Woods.
Kobe almost had to pay $100 million.
Well, that's- yeah, that's when you buy a pink diamond.
And he saved it himself.
God. But then he died and she still gets the money.
Right.
Shooting in the gym.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Ice.
Yeah, Tiger Woods had to pay his ex-wife, they eat him like $700 and some $million. $700 and some million.
And lost his endorsements with Buick, Nike, and stuff like that. Remember that? Yeah.
Tag, watch.
Yeah.
Watch company, tag, all of that.
Yeah, he lost like buku dollars off of that. He lost like almost billions of dollars.
That's $3/4 of a billion.
Yeah. Remember that.
Off of a faulty relationship.
Off of a faulty relationship.
Yeah.
One that because he didn't prove her, didn't know to prove him,
Right.
and then the parents wasn't involved, and then the next point we're going to. That's all I don't want to jump into that part, but all those things was very, very important, and it says, "Let strangers be filled with thy wealth." Read.
And thy labors be in the house of a stranger.
And then now you out the house, and the stranger's in your house. But who living like that right now? The strangers are where? In Israel, and we in where? The bottom of the barrel, America. So that's on a mass level, but just in a marriage sense, right? Now you struggling. You don't want out the house. You can't be around your kids. That's what's happening with a lot of people. Even just average day, the average Joe, they can't even get around their kids because the ex-wife got a dinged restraining order, or they paint this picture like this guy was the abuser and she was the manipulator, or he was manipulating and making it seem like she was the crazy one, but he was the crazy one. So it's like it's a bunch of drama that could have been avoided if we would have had the parents, or we would have listened to the parents' wisdom.
Right.
Who had the hand?
Yeah, I was about to say, or they had the simp that's die hard, and he ready to lose his life to keep you away from your kid.
Oh right. So they married the simp guy. Yeah, he don't even know the full story. She manipulated him, telling his part or her part, and then not really telling the true story.
Right.
So no, that's right on point. Go ahead.
Verse 11. And thou mourn at the last.
And remember, the reason why we're going to this verse is to show what this is the mindset that the parents was having when they was trying to guide the relationship, guide who you choose, so that you don't end up like this. So we don't end up like all the people we just talked about, Tiger Woods and Kobe, Kobe didn't end up that way, but almost. All these different individuals that ended up that way. We're not trying to end up that way. So, and some people, some brothers and sisters, you got dealing with child support, and you don't know you ain't around your kid because one person didn't want you around the kid because they was upset with you, whether male or female, and you don't know your father because your mother was upset and she took you all across the country, and now you didn't get to be raised with your father or near your father, and you miss out on those things because it's a bunch of emotions and drama, and like you said earlier, people being raised with anxiety, right? People who have anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, and you're not even checking for that because you're missing out on certain parts of marriage. So, read on.
When thy flesh and thy body are consumed.
Right. And thou mourn at the last when thy flesh and body are consumed. And that's when everything comes to the realization. That's when you start to realize, like, oh, damn, I messed up. Right? What did Samson realize at the end? Oh, dang, I messed up. So he had to make that grand prayer to the Father when all that could have been avoided by him just listening to his mom and dad. Was like, they were saying, is there not a wife among your people? That's all he had to listen to. And he'd have been good. We wouldn't have had that conversation. He did his job that the Most High birthed him on the earth for.
And just with that, I got a scripture. Proverbs chapter 7, verse 24. Because this is essentially what Samson's father was telling him. He knows. He's like, why would he allude? Why wouldn't he answer his question directly? Like, yeah, okay, son, I got you. Why would he allude to like, wait a minute? Why would he answer a question with a question? Like, wait a minute, you haven't seen anybody amongst the brethren? Like,
You ain't consider that.
you ain't consider that? Hey, Dad, I see a beautiful woman. Can you get her for me? Wait, you ain't consider Like, so you don't consider Danielle next door?
Yeah.
You don't consider Rebecca up the street?
Right.
You don't want the good girl. You want the Ice Spice.
Yeah, you want the, come on now, you want the hood rat.
Right.
Give me a hood rat chick. Y'all remember that song? Y'all too young to know about that song.
One dad don't.
Ooh, come on now. Hey, yeah. But that's what we glorify. So, but here's what the Father was trying to say, not in so many words, but this is the message. Go ahead.
Proverbs chapter 7, verse 24. Hearken unto me now, therefore.
He's saying, pay attention to what I'm saying.
Listen.
Listen. That's what you hear. Yeah. This is what I'm really explaining to you. Go ahead.
O ye children, and attend to the words of my mouth.
You got to pay attention to the words in the way I'm talking to you, in the fashion of why I'm not answering your question the way you wanted to. Why am I against what you're asking? Go ahead.
Let not thine heart decline to her ways.
Don't let your what?
Heart decline.
Don't give your spirit to this woman, especially if you don't know about it. Don't decline don't submit your spirit unto this woman. Go ahead.
Go not astray.
Don't go not a what?
Go not astray.
Because what happens when a man falls in love? You know the song. You probably don't. When a man loves a woman. What? Y'all know y'all got to hear that song. He said he can't take his mind off of nothing else. Right? Come on now. He said he would turn his back on his friends and everything. The scriptures talk about that in Ezra. First Ezra. Right? A man goes out of his wits for a woman, right?
God.
So what is he trying to warn his young son? Bro, you need to slow your horses. You need to slow the truck down and put it in idle right now. That's what you need to do. Because if you don't, you're going to go out of your wits. You're going to start moving stupid. You're going to look silly. You're going to look like Boo Boo the Fool. Go ahead.
Go not astray in her path.
Don't go in her path. Meaning, don't try to keep company with her. Why are you entertaining? Oh, a text message here, a text message there. Hey, how you doing? A little emoji here, a little gift here. Like, why are you playing with it? Because what's the end result? Go ahead.
For she hath cast down many wounded.
Because guess what? This ain't her first rodeo. Guess what? This ain't his first rodeo.
Yeah.
What's he gonna do? Hit you with DJ Khaled? Wow, you small. You know, you beautiful. And there's something in your eyes. It's just the way you look at me, girl. You get me. You the best. You know what I mean? He running all that game up on you, and what you doing? He just knows my thoughts. It's like we connect on a spiritual level. All the while, what is he plotting? Trying to get the drawers.
Yeah. He's
right?
always the smoothest talker of the first couple of weeks.
Oh, bro, he's smooth like snake snot. You know what I mean? Yeah. Smooth like snake snot. You gotta say it quick. It's hard. But no, listen. But what the point is, he's smooth. She's smooth. They're witty, overly witty. Why? Because they've done this before. They've had practice.
Right. But those are the red flags that your parents would catch. I mean, your parents would see that because you got the what they call it, the boat goggles on. You got the sea goggles. You got the sea goggles on. You love drunk. You know what I mean? You just all in the fog and the haze. You're not seeing all this clear right in front of your face that she's about your money. She only like you because you got a car. She only like you because you got an apartment. But what happens if those things are gone? Right? Or she's just trying to get her way into, right? You don't see the deceptiveness, her little sneaky or his little sneaky tactics of even trying to GTD, just get the drawers. But you so caught because he's being so decisive, she's being so subtle, right? That's why your father, your mother will be sitting there like, your older brother, because even the scriptures talk about if your father's not there, what? You bring that older brother, or male, because he's not going to fall for that game. That game ain't working on me. I'm trying to see what you about, what you here for, what's your intentions, right? What's your plans? Where's your vision? Where you trying to go with this? Where you trying to go? Where do you see yourself, and where do you see my daughter at in your life, right? What do you require for yourself, and what do you require for your woman that's in your life? You don't know? Oh, then nah. You ain't got no. You ain't gonna figure it out. You ain't gonna just do this on the fly. Where you got my daughter on the side like, yeah, babe, you my ride or die. Nah, you ain't trying to. How about you have a plan and fly, not ride or die. You know what I mean? But this is what the supervision. This is what our customs kept us safe from. Y'all see that?
Read on. Yea, many strong men have been slain by her. Because you got to. Here's the hidden agenda. Here's why your parents had to be. Because your parents are great in age, right?
Right.
So they've experienced a lot of hardship. You don't have to touch the stove and get burned, first, second, and third degree burn, to know that the stove is hot, do you? And that's what the parents were supposed to be doing. That's what he was trying to do for Samson. That's what you are supposed to be doing for your children. You're letting them know. Read that again. Yea, many strong men. Many strong men. There's people stronger than you. You got to understand you ain't king crap. You know what I'm saying? You ain't king-ish. You're not queen bee. No. There's badder women, there's badder men than you. And what happened to them? Many strong men have been slain. Have been what? Slain. Listen, sometimes it can get real. You can get cut. You can get popped. So you can't think that you can't take it off like, oh, this is just dad being dad, and this is just mom being mom.
Right.
You can't think, dang, am I too hard on my kid? Oh, maybe I should treat my son like my best friend. Maybe I should treat my daughter like my best. Hell no. The scripture says beat them, they will not die. Right? But beat them with what? Beat them with the love of the word. You know what I mean? You can spare the rod, spoil the child, touch it with the belt if they need it. But you want to hit their psyche. You want to beat that nasty mind state that America is trying to inbred on us. If you're sleepy, go wash your face. All right? But that's what you got to do. So you got to understand many men and women have fallen who are stronger than you, who are more high-powered and more willed than you. So don't think that you're going to be the one to break. You're going to be the one to break them. You're playing with a demon. And that's what the Father's trying to show you. That's what the Father's trying to show everybody in any situation. Go ahead. Her house is the way to hell. Her house is where? The way to hell. Yeah, you keep playing with fire, you're going to get burned. You play with the devil, he'll show up. I'm your huckleberry. Yeah. That's what's going to happen. Go ahead. Going down to the chambers of death. Come on now, because the end result is when you play with this demon, with that woman, with that man, you're going to die. You're jeopardizing your life, your spirit. You're jeopardizing the children's life, the children's spirit. If you're a single mother, single father. You can't play with this. And this is what Samson's father already knew. He knew what type of people the Philistines were. These people were filthy, dirty, nasty, untrustworthy. And he has the audacity to try to overrule what his dad said and was like, you know what? Nah, it's all good. I still want it. You got to look at this instance and not take it light. This is what he was trying to warn you. That was it. Go ahead.
Where you at?
Proverbs chapter 5, verse 12.
Right. Go ahead.
And say, how have I hated instruction?
Yeah, you don't want to miss out. You don't want to get to that point where you hate the instruction. You know, because you missed out on all these important lessons. And that's what we missed out on. You know, and now we're here so that we can actually get the instruction to not get to the point where now we're constantly going through the same cycle that we went through in the world with marriage.
Yeah.
Right, with choosing a spouse or looking at a woman and what you was looking at for that woman and what you wanted that woman for. What was your purpose? What was your intention? Was it just about you? Was it just about something you wanted to feel whole? You wanted to have somebody connect with you? Or was it about, you know, that this woman would bring some sort of value to the Father, the truth, the Most High? And you have to see that that's the most crucial part. You know, of course, the joy, the love, the laughter, but the crucial part is that you understand that this woman has to bring some sort of value. because we're rebuilding a nation. And we know at this time they knew who they were, they had their home, but now we're in a time period where we're rebuilding, so we have to be extra heightened with our senses on how we deal in relationships, especially now where you're at. So if you're in a relationship, treat it precious, right? Don't just look at it as like, this is me and my wife. This is me having fun time. This is me in lovey-dovey mode. No. You gotta literally be in that mode that I'm gaining information that's gonna preserve not only my relationship, I'm gaining experiences that not only gonna preserve my relationship, but others. So I can't hate instruction. Read.
And my heart despised reproof.
And you don't want to despise the reproof, because at the end, you're going to be consumed. You're going to be consumed because you didn't listen. You didn't listen to the steps. Because now you don't be like, well, I don't have parents, so how does that apply? Well, now you have brothers and sisters that care about you. So acknowledging, I know we said that yesterday, but just for the people online, now you have brothers and sisters that care about you, so you don't have to jump into situations and jump into making rash decisions with people. You don't want to just mess yourself up. I like what he said yesterday, and you said it on Facebook. You can say it again, for everybody that's here watching. I know everybody was on Facebook.
During my time, beginning when I previously was courting Rakamah, right? Rakamah is my rib. So we were courting, and during that time period, I brought Quatazab to the house, have a checkout, right? He talked, we all laughed, we had some food, we had a good time. And then when we got in the car, he gave me the download. He was like, yeah, she seems cool, yada, 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 yada. The Spirit's with her, right? Did it with Quatazab. Then brought her in front of Kazaki, right? Did the same thing, ate food, laughed, joked, conversated, and he was like, you know what I mean? Move on, calm. But that's what you were supposed to be doing if you don't have a father. That's what you would do now in the truth. The scripture says, try the Spirit by the Spirit. But how do you do that? Because you're spiritually discerned now. You're spiritually, your antennas are all the way up. That's the sister right there. Why? Because she gave you the draws, or she withheld the draws from what? The pleasure for a couple of nights, 6 months, a year. You still didn't prove it. The scripture says, prove a friend. We just touched on that. So what it did was, I was like, okay, she seems cool. She seems righteous. She seems like she's striving for righteous. She's one of those brothers, sisters that it says in Ezekiel, that sign that's crying for the abominations that are done in the midst thereof. But I can't just be the only one. You're supposed to do everything in 2s and 3s. You see how the scriptures all fall into place like dominoes? Yeah. In the multitude of counsel, there's safety. Counsel before every enterprise. So when you get 1, 2 elders that are more experienced than you and they give you the green light, then you move on it. You don't take the hand, you know what, I'm going to move on it, and then we'll bring her to class, and then we're going to say, you know what, this is my rib, shalom, say shalom to everybody. That's not the way it works.
She pretty.
Yes.
Hell no, she pretty. No, you got to work. It's supposed to work everything decently and in order. What's the order? Oh, snap, I like you. Oh, you like me. Hey, you like the Bible? No. Red flag. Right? Oh, okay, well, shoot, it was nice talking to you. I'm going to talk to you later. You know what I mean? Hey, you get your half-price refills, all of that. But no, that was a joke. But that's how you want to do it. If you're rehearsing the righteous acts, you don't have to mess up during rehearsal. You can do the right thing by, oh, okay, you believe in the Bible? Oh, hey, check this class out. Hey, she checks out the class. So, what was it? What was the topic? I like it, but could you give me some understanding? Oh, wait a minute. So you actually watched the class? Mm-hmm. You actually paid attention and took notes? Mm-hmm. I sure did. I was curious. I heard you in the background, and you was reading, and why was you reading so loud? Look at that. She's paying attention. She's going after a godly soul. Now she's inquisitive on the vocation of what you're walking, right? Con? So then that's you trying the Spirit by the Spirit. That's you exercising. That's you working the way we worked back then. Yeah. You're proving a friend by the scriptures. You're proving what spirit is in that woman, what's in that man. Right? Sorry about that.
Yeah. But we read Proverbs 4 and 10. Proverbs chapter 4 verse 10.
God. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 10.
Go ahead.
Hear, O my son, and receive my sayings.
And that's what we're supposed to be at. We're supposed to be trying to receive the sayings, the wise sayings, so that we can start doing things the right way. And, you know, obviously we went into the parent part. Now we're going to slide into the marriage and dowry part. This is one of the Most High sayings. And when we listen to these steps, when we follow these regulations that have been laid down for us when it comes to marriage, biblically, it keeps us what? Read.
And the years of thy life shall be many.
And the years of our life will be many. So we're going to be able to have a what? A happy relationship, build with happy children, filled with good examples for the people around us, because they see a strong bond and strong connection. Because you're going to have your ups and your downs in your relationships. But can you stand firm through the storm? Can you stand firm through your hard moments? And that's the test. But when you're able to pass that test, you're able to give somebody your testimony. You're able to give somebody your story of how you overcame your weaknesses in the middle of the moment. And, you know, this is why the parents were so essential, because they went through the test. They proved themselves to the father, to be a worthy teacher to their child, right? Anybody that had any questions to them. But this is something that we was going to go into. So, which is the dowry, all right?
Go to Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 28. All right? That means the potatoes of it. Wait for everybody to get it. And then somebody else grab me Exodus chapter 22.
Come.
2016.
Come.
All right, go ahead with the Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 28.
Wait for everybody to get it. Let me know when everybody's there. Give me a con when you got it.
Come.
Con?
Come.
Couple people flipping.
Yeah. And in this part, I answer the question is for anybody that has the thoughts of like, well, do we get married? Do we go to the courthouse, get a paper? Do we got to go to church and get married in front of the priest? Nothing wrong with that. You know, nothing wrong with getting married, right? Brother actually just did that in San Antonio with the brothers out there. And, you know, they did that very well. You know, but so you want to just do it the right way. We're going to find out just how the marriage was actually contracted. What was the contract? What said like, okay, these two, they're communicating, and you can't deal with her, you can't deal with her, you can't deal with her, you can't talk with her. She's off limits. She's his. And what made this considered like they were what made them bonded? What made them connected? What now like, okay, these two are one. And we're gonna figure that out, you know, through the agreement actually came from the parents communicating. The agreement actually came from the mother and the father agreeing with the other mother and father. So parents actually communicating, or if the parent wasn't there, the son and the father. We're going to read that in multiple different instances. So, but go ahead.
Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 28.
Go ahead.
If a man find a damsel.
If a man finds a young woman, okay.
That is a virgin.
That is a what?
A virgin.
When you look up that word virgin, it's a woman of marriageable age. Okay? So a woman in her 30s today would still be considered a virgin because she's still of marriageable age. She could still bear children. Right? She hasn't had menopause and her system isn't shut down. So that's a virgin. That's one of the definitions of a virgin. Right? We also know a virgin who hasn't slept with anybody. All right? Go ahead.
Which is not betrothed.
Which is not what?
Not betrothed.
Betrothed meaning she's not, today society they call it talking to somebody. Oh, no, I ain't got no boyfriend. Okay, well, who you talking to? Well, you know, I just got a couple dudes I'm just talking to, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I got a couple friends. So you're talking to 3 dudes, one dude's breaking your back, and then another guy's just your friend. We see it all the time in the mall. The husband's away, he's off in Greece. You know what I'm saying? He's in Guam somewhere, right? But she's walking every day in the mall with some guy, with some rando. Yeah. But he's just the friend. He's the cousin.
He just takes me shopping.
He's the best friend.
He's the best friend who takes me shopping. Nah, la-ah. If you didn't know what la-ah means, it's no. Because that's what it is. That is not so. That's what's going on. So it said if she is not betrothed, she wasn't talking or dealing with anybody else. There was nobody in the picture. She had shutters on around her eyes. She was looking forward. She had television. She was living her life by herself. That's not betrothed. Go ahead.
And lay hold on her.
And he what?
Lay hold on her.
Now this happens sometimes. If he didn't go to the father, in this instance, if he didn't go to the father, but he did lay hold on her. Go ahead.
And lie with her.
And he did what?
Lie with her.
Go ahead.
And they be found.
And then it's known, okay, you guys were together. Ooh. You didn't have a ceremony. You didn't go to the dad, but it's known that y'all two did some things. Right? Go ahead.
Then the man that lay with her.
Then the man that lays with her, what's going to happen?
Shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver.
Now this is the dowry part. Right? But why? Why is this important? Why? Anybody? Yeah. Why is this important? That was my literal question. I'm sorry.
The dowry part?
Yes, sir.
Because the father has to be repaid for basically losing his daughter to the man.
I need a little bit more. You're in the right vicinity.
She would be like an extra pair of hands to help out and cook and chores.
God.
Look after other siblings and whatnot. And if he didn't get anything in return for that, then he'd basically be getting robbed.
God.
Right. Yeah. On that, let me read the definition. And somebody get Ecclesiastes 36 and 24. Because the brother did, that's exactly what would happen. And our custom was understanding that this father, right, he raised his daughter same way he raised his son, to be of value to the nation. Now, this daughter, in this instance right here, or in any instance, she's going to do what to that man? She's going to add on. She's going to increase him. But then what happens to our father that put all of that time and effort, as we went into yesterday's class, the scriptures say, when he wakes up at night when nobody knows, to check, to make sure that she's going to stay on that right path, checking her phone, talking to her, having the conversations, making sure her mind is in the right place and not getting polluted and defiled by America's ways, right? That's a woman of value. So now she's going to you, you have to show me some things. You have to show me some compensation. So the definition of dowry is, the purpose of dowry was to compensate the bride's family for the loss of her labor. Remember, she's not just being at home scrolling on her phone, putting her phone down and doing the next, TikTok dances. Nah, she's learning at a young age how to wash clothes, prepare dinner, take care of her younger siblings if there is any, right? Clean a household, right? When we talk about cleaning a household, talk about behind that toilet. You know what I mean? Yeah, because they're not learning this in the world. They're not learning this in the world. So what's going to happen? You're going to get this valuable asset that somebody invested a lot of quality time in. How do you show consideration for that? Well, you compensate her and her family. But doesn't that make sense? Isn't that fair? Yeah, now somebody read the Ecclesiasticus. What you have?
Basically, going along with what they're saying is that woman that you're taking away from the father, she has certain values. But she's been at that Proverbs 31 woman.
She's been raised to bring increase. She's been raised to be a go-getter, right? She's been raised to be a thinker. She's been raised to know her place in order. She's not going to be combating her husband. She's not going to be looking like she can stare her husband in the eye and say, "What, nigga?" Right? She's going to know her strength is being in subjection to that man, right? And she's going to do what? Like it says in Titus. What does she do? The elder woman teach the younger woman to be lovers of their husband, right? So you're getting something that's what? This is like 50 shekels. That should be, in today's day and age, if you get an Israelite woman, 50 shekels is a light thing. 'Cause look at the quality of woman that's out there for our young boys, sadly. And I got 3. I pray every day Yahweh sends Yahweh Shai before they got to get married. Unless they're getting an Hebrew Israelite raised individual. Y'all see that? But then it's on me to make sure I'm raising them to be that standard too. Because somebody's investing their time raising their daughter right. I can't give them a Jake with Frenches. Right? You got a Hebrew name, but he acting like that on Polo G. You know what I'm saying? That wouldn't be fair to them. So somebody read the scripture.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 36, verse 24.
Go ahead.
He that getteth a wife begetteth a possession.
Now, I mean, any possession that we have, right? Think about it. Your car, you take care of that, right? Your J's, you take care of that. Your baseball card collection, you got that in the plastic. You ain't trying to let it you keep it in mint condition, right? So there's something of value. So your wife is something of value, right? Why? Just because she got a pretty face? Because she's got a nice waist? Nah, it's because she was raised with qualities and standards and principles. Most importantly, she was raised with this Bible, right? Keep reading.
A help. Like
a what?
A help.
Nah, she just sits there and let you do everything.
A help.
What you did today? Nothing. Just waiting for you.
A help.
A help. Read.
Like unto himself.
Like in the same mind as you. So you're not going to have to combat this individual.
Right, because when you read Exodus chapter 1 verse 19, it talks about the Hebrew women were lively, right? But where did they learn that from? They got that from their husband. Right. They got that from their father, from their parents. Right.
Keep going.
And the pillar of rest.
Somewhere that I can come and trust it. That when I'm not home or when I'm out of town, that things are going to be handled just like I was if I was home. She's going to keep that. And that's why it was so important to have your father go talk to her father. Right? Because she's going to know her requirements. Right? And she's not going to stray from that. He's going to know his requirements. And he's not going to stray from that. So this woman now becomes a pillar of rest that was raised properly. So this dowry is a compensation for all of that effort that this family put into that daughter. Y'all see that? Y'all get that or no?
Right. I forgot. I just came back to my remembrance the virtues that was added onto the sister.
Yeah.
You know that's taken out. You know that brother's taken.
God.
Yeah, her kind, gentle nature was being given to you. So it went from her parents and it was being passed on to you. So yeah, her kind and gentle nature was being passed on to you. So you was getting everything about her. So with you getting everything about her, it's like in all those good qualities. It's like, well, this is an investment. It's a trade-off. It's like a trade-off. So this is these are things that were being implemented to do what? Because what are we trying to figure out? That think about it. They're not going to the courthouse. They're not going to the. They didn't even go they didn't go to the elders. They sitting here talking to each other. The grown, mature men in the spirit talking to each other about how we're going to actually engage in this spousal moment. This moment where I want your son to be with my daughter to be with your son.
God.
And how are we going to do this? And what are we basing it on? Well, this is an investment on both sides. My son knows how to do this. And he got this. He's on matured, spirit-wise. He's conscious, he's considerate, he's this. So your daughter's getting something special. But then on the man's side, it's like, okay, well, my daughter can do this, right? And she's gentle. She got that kind tongue that is rare in a woman. She got that kind tongue. Listen, and she humble. She follow too. She locked in. So you get something valuable. And this is the part with that dowry where, the father, that finance that you was giving, you was paying him for the compensation of what he was losing, according to her value. Because she brought value to the family. The world makes this part look bad, but then they got a whole court system where you divorce and they take your money.
Right.
Think about it. They make this part look bad like it's a bad thing, but you're actually protecting the family that you're taking money from. That you're taking production from.
Right.
I just want the dowry definition.
Oh, God. It says, the purpose of a dowry was to compensate the bride's family for the loss of her labor. And then it also says, and her reproductive potential, meaning what? That because she wasn't out there jumping from man to man, this is a physically fruitful individual that's going to be able to bring forth lineage. You know what I mean? Because his father, just like the scripture you read in Ecclesiasticus, who's waking up, making sure that his daughter keeps her virginity. Now she doesn't have any STDs to give you. Or, there's a possibility she might not be able to bring children because she's got HPV, because she was sleeping around since the time she was 13. Or she's got one of these other, she's got herpes. I don't know if your son's going to want to have children with her because he possibly could get herpes too. No, because you're going to compensate her favor for all of this quality supervision that they give it to this female. Y'all see that? This young girl. You get it now?
That Deuteronomy? Go ahead.
Verse 29 from the top. Then the man that lied with her.
The man that what?
Lied with her.
Now here's what I want to touch on, two parts of this real quick. That lying with her, right? Because again, just to kill that false mind state, like, okay, well, we still got to go to the courthouse. Is that really my husband? Is that really my wife? Really? No, okay. Go to Genesis chapter 24, verse 67. So that man that lies with her, right? Because do we have to go to the courts? Do we have to have a wedding? Do we have to have this? Do we have to have all those things? Let's see what the scripture says.
Genesis chapter 24 and verse 67.
Verse 65.
65. For she had said unto a servant.
64.
64.
Go ahead.
And Rebekah lifted up her eyes. And when she saw Isaac.
So Rebekah was coming from her house, leaving her parents' house, right? And she seen Isaac from a distance. Go ahead.
She lighted off the camel.
She got off the camel. Go ahead.
For she had said unto the servant, what man is this that walketh in the field to meet us?
Uh-huh.
And the servant had said, it is my master. Therefore she took a veil and covered herself.
Right, so automatically when she recognized, when she got told, oh, that's my master. Oh, okay, let me humble myself. Let me let me be shamefaced right now. Not saying that she was walking around just like a brute, you know what I mean? Like what Carr says, Timberlands in the skirt, right? No, what she did was she made herself proper. She made herself proper. Okay, I'm about to meet my soon-to-be husband. Let me real quick, right? Let me get right. Let me get ready. Go ahead.
And the servant told Isaac all things that he had done.
Mm-hmm.
And Isaac brought her into his mother's Sarah's tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife.
Wait, did it say there was the judge there?
She became his wife.
Read it from the top again.
And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent.
Okay, so the dad was there?
Okay,
go ahead.
And took Rebekah, and she became his wife.
So when he took her, he laid hold on her. He was like, right? Let's go in this tent right quick. There's nobody else there. So what happened? She became his wife, right? Drop that. Give me Matthew chapter 1 and verse 20.
Yeah, that's important because a lot of us was raised. Well, all of us outside of these young children were raised what? When you want to get married, what are you supposed to do as a man? You're supposed to get on your knee, right? You're supposed to get you a ring, and they would say the ring that you gotta had to be what, like 2 times your salary. Yeah, if you ain't doing that, you ain't doing it right. And if you ain't wearing your wedding ring, then what? You a wicked husband. Right. You ain't even a husband. You could take off your ring and now you single again. See how stupid that sounds? See how foolish that is? It's not our customs.
Right. Yeah. And so you figuring out what? You didn't need a court system. You didn't need to go anywhere. It was just an agreement. Right. It was an agreement made, and that agreement, and then that agreement was made, and then you actually literally these two actually literally lay together. And when they lay together, they became husband and wife. Right at that moment. So it don't take a paper, it don't take a ring, it don't take the government, it don't take the courthouse. It just takes what? Conversation, right? Agreement, and then you act forward on that agreement. Right? You was thinking? You had a question? Yeah, but we do have to follow the rules of the land when it comes to like we ain't out here just running red lights, and when it comes to things like that, running red lights and not paying your light bills, and not paying your rent, not paying your car note. When it comes to things of that nature, but we have our own laws that we can follow. Because remember, we was in the Roman rule, right? Remember when in the New Testament when the Jews was being controlled by the Romans, they were still keeping the feast of the Passover, right? But wouldn't that be breaking the laws of the land? Because the Romans followed Catholicism. They didn't follow Hebrew customs. So we would basically be breaking the laws of the land if we was keeping the Passover and the Pentecost and all the other customs. They was wearing fringes. I'm pretty sure they was wearing fringes, right? They was definitely wearing fringes. They was definitely doing offerings. So we were still keeping our laws in the midst of captivity. Is what we figuring out.
Especially when we read over it briefly, and we graze past it. But when you read in St. Matthew's, when he was talking to the Samaritan woman, right? Huh? Right. He said he said she had 5 husbands, right? But what would that mean? What would make her have 5 husbands? That means she was doing what? Laying with somebody, right?
God.
And then he said the man that you call your husband right now, he's not even your husband. So why would he say that's your husband? Because he understood what the scriptures say. When you lay with a man, that's your what? That's your husband. That's your spouse, huh? All right. So,
and as we know clearly in America, that does not stop adultery. Just because you got a ring on your finger does not, and you got a marriage license, does not stop a woman from going to sleep with somebody other than her man, and it does not stop a man from saying, "Oh yeah, your husband ain't no good. You know, we should go out. Let's meet him at the hotel." So that marriage certificate, I mean, if you get one, God, it's not unlawful. I have one, but is that what keeps the fabric of my relationship together? Heck nah, it don't, because we act like perfect strangers if we arguing. That marriage certificate ain't just coming out. It's like, you know what? We are married under the United States law. We need to start agreeing together. No, it's the Bible that gets our relationship back together. It's us understanding that we already consummated our marriage long ago, and we have to now cultivate that marriage according to the scriptures.
Right, and just pointing out, like, we figuring out that, where's that Deuteronomy?
Verse 29.
You read it from the top again.
Verse 29.
So what we're doing is we're reading the laws of the Bible. We're reading the laws of God, and this is a law that God set down that showed and displayed that we are now married. It didn't take the paper, it didn't take the court, and understand we live in captivity, but we still kept our customs in the midst of captivity. Think about it, we died to keep our laws. When you read in Maccabees, we fought to keep our laws when they was trying to chop us up and kill us and murder us. And that was basically us disobeying the laws of the land, but God was with that because they were trying to get us to eat pork. They were trying to get us to do things, to not circumcise our children. They were trying to get us to do everything opposite, right, to what the Father wanted us to do. And we're following our culture. We're coming back to our way of life. So I want you to read that. This is a law that God laid down. Read.
Then the man that lie with her shall give unto the damsel father.
Start at verse 28.
Verse 28. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed.
So this is a damsel that's a virgin. And he read the definition of a virgin could be multiple things. But in a young unmarried woman, a woman that literally didn't lay with a man, right? And read on.
Which is not betrothed.
And she's not betrothed. That means she's not promised to somebody. She's not communicating with a man. Read.
And lay hold on her.
And this man lays hold on her. Read.
And lie with her.
And he lays with her. So they have physical intimacy, right? Male and woman. They, right? Read.
And they be found.
Right? And they're found. Read.
Then the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver.
Notice. But why? Read.
And she shall be his wife, because he hath.
Hold on, slow down. Go up just a little bit.
Verse 29, second precept. And she shall be his wife.
Go. Where is that? You kind of read it so fast. Where is it at? 29, 20. That the man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's fathers 50 shekels. So that's the dowry part. You paying them for what you're taking. So you see that in verse 29? Then the man that lay with her shall give the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver. So that's the payment. Because now you made her your wife because you laid with her. And right now, read.
And she shall be his wife.
And now she's your wife. At that point, she's your wife. So that doesn't mean, but notice that there was nothing about court. There was nothing about obey the law of the land. It's just saying that once you physically lay with a woman, that's your wife by the law of God. And what does that scripture say in Acts 5:29? I want you to read that real quick.
Acts chapter 5, verse 29.
So he's going to read this real quick, so I want to write it down. Hold where you at. Just focus where you at. Read.
Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey the Most High rather than men.
What does it say?
We ought to obey the Most High rather than men.
You see that? Yeah, we're going to obey the laws of the land. But we're not breaking the law by keeping our law. We're not breaking a law by keeping the customs of how we do marriage. And what way would we rather serve? Would we rather do it the way our culture does it? Opposed to the land?
Yeah.
Especially if we doing no harm, like you literally just laying with your woman, you're considered married. Why would we want to be in control of, why would we want our marriage to be controlled by the government?
Right.
Why would we want our marriage to be controlled by Esau? Somebody don't know how to control themselves.
Right. A nation that can't save us.
A nation that can't save us.
Right.
Right. And so we got to see that portion too. Why would I want to be connected to them in any form or fashion? I want to be as free as I possibly can. Y'all got your own business. That's freedom. That's freedom. You don't got to deal with Esau, right? As much beyond taxes, right? But after that, you make your schedule. You wake up when you want to. You pick up as many jobs as you want to. That's freedom.
Right.
Why not have the free reign of y'all's marriage under the laws of God? Why be connected to a marriage? But I want to make sure we're answering your question. That. Okay.
One more. Well, we're at there. We got Matthew.
God.
Go ahead.
Matthew chapter 1 and verse 20.
Go ahead.
But while he thought on these things, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared unto him.
So this is the beginning of how Yahushua was born, right?
God.
And so when you read up in that verse.
Right. I want to make sure it's clear. You're not saying that too. If you wanted to, do it that way, you can't. You can't. That's up to your husband and yourself. Y'all having that conversation, sit down, and if that's what he would like to do, then y'all go to the court and y'all wanted to get that contract from the government or the courthouse. Y'all can do that. There's nothing wrong with that at all, either. But it's up to y'all. What y'all want to do? It's y'all's decision. And obviously, he's the head, so he's going to make the final decision. But y'all can obviously talk about it. But I'm just showing you the other part of the scripture. Well, in this sense, we ought to obey God rather than men. Because I know you said about the law of the land. But in this sense, there's nothing wrong with us. The scriptures tell us no. We ought to obey God rather than men. Okay, if the law of the land tells me to do something contrary to my customs, then I'm going to do what? I'm going to follow my customs. Right? But now I'm not going to go around skipping red lights and not paying my bills and going to the supermarket and just walking out and not paying for my food in the supermarket. I'm not going to do those things.
Right.
That's where I'm going to make sure I'm obeying the laws of the land.
Right.
Because then what? I'm just bringing trouble to myself and to my household. Right? To the people that I'm around. But the main thing is this. Nothing wrong with it. It's y'all's decision. But the way that the Most High considered us to be married was us lying. You lying with a man and a man lying with you.
Right, not a contract. And we definitely have to put more value in that. Just real quick, we got to put more value in that because it teaches our children to not just have that promiscuous sex that America is saying is okay. Just wrap it up. That don't count until you go to court or put a ring on it. So it's very important that we understand what real marriage is in the eyes of the Heavenly Father.
Right.
Read verse 20.
Verse 20?
Uh-huh.
Matthew chapter 1, verse 20.
So we understand that when you jump to verse 18, that Mary and Joseph was a spouse, right? They already had relations. They were promised to, and in the middle of being promised to, they laid together. All right, so verse 20, go ahead.
But while he thought on these things,
because he didn't announce it publicly, they laid together quietly. He was meditating like, dang, I don't want to put her away. Go ahead.
Behold, the angel of the Lord appeared unto him.
Now everybody knows what an angel is? A what? They dwell in the fourth dimension, right?
God.
Near the kingdom of the Most High, right?
God.
So let's find out what this angel says. Because let's take a step back. During this time, Israel was under what rule?
Rome.
Who?
Rome.
Okay, so today Israel is under what rule?
American.
What? Babylon, Greco-Roman, right? Come. All right. Stay with me. Stay with me right here. Right? So during that time period, they were under captivity. During this time period, we're under captivity, right? But the angel of the Lord came to Joseph and said what?
Saying, Joseph, thou son of David, fear not to take unto thee Mary thy wife.
Wait. He said, Mary who?
Mary thy wife.
So the angel already understood because they know what goes on in heaven, right? The father tells, hey, listen, go send this message to Joseph right quick. So the angel said, don't be afraid to take who?
Mary thy wife.
He already understood that was his wife. So it doesn't matter if you were in persecution or not. It doesn't matter if you were under Roman rule, Greek rule, Babylonian rule, American rule.
Yeah, good point.
The Most High already understood. He already knows because what did he establish in Exodus and Deuteronomy? You laid with that woman.
God, that's you.
Right? Just because you don't have accountability right now, you will in judgment day. But in the meantime, I'm going to send this angel down. I'm going to send my messenger down. He's going to talk to you. He said, don't be ashamed to take Mary, who's already your wife. That's already your woman. So this is what? This scripture is proving that the Most High already recognized what you did. Cool, you didn't go to the parents. You didn't make the announcement. You didn't have the party. You guys did it quietly. Okay, that's cool. Right? But he's seen it. But with that.
And just even in that moment, you're seeing right there that nobody was involved, but the parents. And if you know Mary and Joseph's story, the parents was involved, right? They was around, and you know at least two. They didn't go to who? They didn't go to the Romans. Be like, hey, marry us, make us legally married by the contract. Did we not have a contract? Yeah, we did. We can find that in just to give y'all that one. It's 10:04, so we don't want to go. Oh, you got something? So yeah. So just to show y'all, we did have that. Go ahead.
Tobit chapter 7 verse 9.
Tobit chapter 7 and verse 9. So he communicated the matter with Regel. And Regel said to Tobias, eat and drink and make merry. For it is meet that thou shouldest marry my daughter.
So this is Tobias, which is Tobit's son. And he's doing this, he's following the instruction, just like Isaac gave Jacob the instruction to not go get a Canaanite, but get somebody of his homeland. And Padanaram, his mother's brother, right? Excuse me. So but he's doing the same exact thing that Jacob did. So now Raguel being what's her name again?
Edna. Was it Edna? Edna's wife.
No. What's his wife's name again?
His wife's name was Edna.
No, it's not Edna.
Yeah,
It's Edna? Oh wait.
That's verse 2.
Yeah.
No, not Edna. Not Raguel's wife. I'm talking about Tobias. Sarah. Okay.
Verse 13.
Oh, okay, come. So he communicated the matter with Raguel, the father of Sarah, and Raguel said to Tobias, Tobit's son, eat and drink and make merry. Read.
For it is meet that thou shouldest marry my daughter.
Because he knew what manner of man he was giving his daughter to. They know Tobit. They know Tobit's pedigree. They know how he lived. They heard the stories of what he was doing for dead people. So it's like, this is the perfect guy. It's the perfect child to pass my daughter on to.
Right. When you see that word meet, meaning it's important. It's imperative.
Go ahead.
Nevertheless, I will declare unto thee the truth.
But you see how that's so important to have with the parents? Because this parent was also being honest. This was being an honest, transparent moment. Read.
I have given my daughter in marriage to 7 men.
7 men. They tried. Tried 7 men. Read.
Who died that night, and they came in unto her.
And remember, there was a demon called Osmodeus.
Yeah.
That was disturbing her when she was trying to engage in marriage with these individuals. So, and that was making it hard. But the Most High had it worked out to where He wanted Tobias to marry her. So, he gave Tobias the remedy to deal with that demon. Why? With Tobias rolling around with the angels. Just to give you a little backstory on that. But we're going to figure something out. Read.
Nevertheless, for the present be married. But Tobias said, I will eat nothing here till we agree and swear one to another.
See that? Look, there till what?
Till we agree and swear one to another.
But Tobias said, I will eat nothing here till we what?
Agree and swear one to another.
They came to an agreement. So this man that wanted to marry his daughter met with the father, and they agreed about the marriage. That was the communication. That was the oral agreement, and they kept their word. At this time, people used to keep their word. We don't keep our word nowadays. People don't know about keeping the word anymore, about the word being important. But we're going to figure out, too, about this contract. What we figured out right here is that what? It didn't take you going to a courthouse. It didn't take you going to a Christian church and going through the pastor and all those things. But is that wrong? No, it's not wrong, because we did have ceremonies biblically. Right? And we're going to read about, well, we can't read about it tonight, but another time we'll go into the ceremony portion. Right? But we're figuring out that it was an agreement between the husband and the father of the father, or if the father or the mother wasn't there, it's the man that wanted to marry the daughter. So it would go through that person, through those stages. So read verse 12.
Verse 12. Regel said, then take her from henceforth, according to the manner.
What manner?
For thou art her.
What manner? The manner is what? According to the custom. What Isaac do? What did Jacob do? What did Judah do? What do we read about the nations doing? They went to their parents, right? And then they asked, and they came upon an agreement. Read? That was the manner. That was what was going on in the past, and that was the law. And he read the law, right? You went to the father, give the father the dowry, the payment. And obviously there was a conversation happening in between all of that. Read?
For thou art her cousin, and she is thine.
And she is thine. Read?
And the merciful and the merciful God give you good success in all things.
And the Most High, He blessed it. He blessed it. They did it the right way. They went through the right, proper steps. Right? And read on.
Then he called his daughter Sarah, and she came to her father.
Right. And he called the woman. Then the woman came around. So the woman wasn't just jumping to the man was just jumping to the woman. He was going through the proper route. Right. So that everything could flow smooth and in order. And this is how, but we figuring out what? The steps. Mm-hmm. We're looking at our ancestors act out the steps of the law. The Deuteronomy that you read, right? And the Exodus that you read the Exodus too, right? Or you just went to Deuteronomy? Okay, he read the one in Deuteronomy, but those were the steps. Nobody was skipping steps here. And they were trying to make sure that the Most High blessed this union. So, read on.
And he took her by the hand, and gave her to be wife to Tobias.
He did what?
Gave her to be wife.
No. Read that part again.
And he took her by the hand.
He took her by what?
The hand.
So, this is him passing on his daughter, saying, you're no longer mine, you're whose? Read.
And gave her to be wife to Tobias.
Boom, here's your husband. Here, go to your husband. Go to your wife. Right? So he passed her on. Because they came to a verbal agreement. And like, okay, let's just enjoy the night. I'm going to tell you a little bit about her story, her life, and everything. And then he's like, okay, cool, but I want you to first agree. Because Tobias already know what needed to happen. He already knew. And so he's like, okay, we're going to talk about that, but I want you to be married tonight. But look, here's your wife. Have it. Boom. Pastor, and said she's his wife. It wasn't a contract, it wasn't a paper, it wasn't none of that. But we have that? We're going to figure that out. Read.
Behold, take her after the law of Moses, and lead her away to thy father.
What was the law of Moses? We just read it. Talk to the father, the dowry, and then she became your wife when you lay with her. Read.
And he blessed them.
And he what?
And he blessed them.
And the father was good with it, because this was a form of them showing that what? They're married.
That's how you get the father's blessing.
That's how you got it. And that's how you get the, yeah, that's how you got the father's blessing. Read.
And called Edna his wife.
And then he called his wife over so that they witnesses, right? Do everything in the midst of the 2 or 3 witnesses. His wife came around, right? Read.
And took paper.
And took paper, and they were the license, the marriage license that we had. We had our own marriage license. And go ahead.
And did write an instrument of covenants.
And did what?
And did write an instrument of covenants.
Agreements. A contract. Because a covenant, when you read the definition of it, is a contract of agreements. And did what?
And sealed it.
And sealed it. So they talked, they agreed, they verbalized it, then they wrote it down, and they sealed it and said, this is the contract, the marriage license. But did they go to the court to get this marriage license, or did they did it amongst themselves? Okay, you got a copy, I got a copy. This is what we agreed to, because we're what? Bible believers, Hebrew Israelites, and we follow customs that required us to do what? Keep the law. And keep our word. And we were men and women that kept our word at that time. Right? And we're learning to do that all over again right now. And we're figuring out that what? Marriage was deemed by you just laying with this person. You literally have to go to the court and get the government involved. But again, the balance is what? Nothing wrong with that.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that, but your husband and you have to agree on that term. And you obviously know your husband gets the final say, because who's the head? The husband man. Right? So, what else does it say?
It says, then they began to eat.
Read verse 16 too.
Verse 16. After Miguel called his wife Edna and said unto her, Sister, prepare another chamber, and bring her in thither. Which when she had done as he had bidden her, she brought her thither, and she wept, and she received the tears. And she received the tears of her daughter, and said unto her, Be of good comfort, my daughter. The Lord of heaven and earth give thee joy for this thy sorrow.
Right, yeah, the Most High is giving her rest to her soul. He's helping her get rid of that spirit, that's disturbing her. Where they actually lazy again? That was it? Right on this part? Oh, wait, you could read that part, just chapter 8, real quick.
Tobit chapter 8, verse 1. And when they had supped, they brought Tobias in unto her. And as he went, he remembered the words of Raphael.
Because he got instructed on how to deal with getting rid of the spirit, but we're going to go to the point where they actually laid together and consummated the marriage. Go ahead.
And took the ashes of the perfumes, and put the heart of the liver of the fish thereupon, and made a smoke therewith.
This was obviously some sort of recipe that the angel told him to cook up that would get rid of the demon. So, read on.
The which smelled, when the evil spirit had smelled, he fled into the utmost parts of Egypt, and the angel bound him.
Oh yeah. Get out of here. Get out of here. Leave Sarah alone. Read.
And after that, they were both shut in together.
And they were both shut in together, so they went into the room. They went into the chamber. Read.
Tobias rose up out of the bed and said, Sister, arise, and let us pray that Yahweh would have pity on us. Then began Tobias to say, Blessed art thou, O Yahweh of our fathers, and blessed is the holy and glorious name forever. Let the heavens bless thee and all thy creatures.
And at that point, they laid together. And then they what? The parents came the next morning. He was alive. And they were like, oh, it was great. It was joyful because why? He had become the 8th man. He had become the 8th man that passed away because of osmosis. But we're figuring out what? They laid together. They talked to the parents. Their parents agreed. You came to you conversated. The person let you know about the actual character and history the good and the bad, and everything was clear. So everything was transparent about, the marriage, what we figured out, the whole marriage process was transparency. And what was the concurrent thing at every point? Communication. There was a there was a line of communication kept so that we can all parties can understand what's going on. And nobody was confused. So, and this is all the things that America took from you that made marriages great. So how can we make Israelite marriages great again? Follow these steps. Yeah, that's real. Follow these steps. Obviously we missed the parent part, but now we got little kids that obviously can go through that process. We got little kids here. You got little RCR, you got Manazak, you got Aria, which is Aria, little Aria. He's Bob, which is 2, right? And you got Daniela. So you got all these kids here that can now go through it, and you, the parent, can actually apply this law to where you can make sure you're taking the guardianship over your child and make sure that you pass them on to a righteous man. And then for the individuals that don't have kids, you can start preparing yourself to make sure you're upright, you're correct, so that when it's time for you to have a kid, you can pass on good character traits, so that you can give them off to somebody that's just as good. So yeah, meet your match. So what we figuring out? The Lord finds you a wife. The Lord delivers you a woman, so you don't have to go seeking, chasing, and over yearning. Vice versa, right? Male or female.
God.
So, yeah. Did that answer y'all's questions, or was that clear on all levels? Yeah. And because y'all's question was mainly leaning toward the license part, or?
Yeah, it was more like the license part of it.
Okay. Yeah, but we just wanted to give y'all like a full subject, so y'all can get all the other aspects, because it helps the clarity, And that helped. That answers your question, right, Rachel? I just want to double check. You said, kinda. Okay. Yeah. And when you want to get an answer, we can come back and touch it again. All right. What you have?
I was about to say, what I like about this class is that it gives me the opportunity to, make that change from here henceforth. So, you have the first steps, which is, the most important part, and it teaches you how to deal with other people.
Yeah.
And then, I will be able to teach my future son and my future daughter, how to communicate.
Right.
And also, I can teach them the customs and arrange, marriages for them, so that they won't have to go through the same thing I went through.
Right. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's right on point. Yeah, and that's exactly what the topics, all the topics are for, even outside of the marriage topics, is so we can get ahead of what we've been missing. What we've been, with all the information, all the knowledge, all the things that we've been doing wrong, so we can actually learn and get to know, so that we can be productive in all areas of life. So, yeah. But that's class for tonight, so we're going to say to everybody online, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom!
Yes, sir.
Chilling up in the kingdom, chilling with Yahweh Shai and all the brothers and the sisters, cooling out, having fun, drinking yayin with Yahweh Shai up in the kingdom, yeah.
Who are we? Israel! Then who are we? Israel! Can't hear you!
Israel.
Who's the power?
Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai's the power.
I said, who's the power?
Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai's the power.